Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
The manhunt for escaped prisoners in Guyana pays off as 7 have been recaptured. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Tuesday, July 25. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Law enforcement officials in Guyana are reporting that 7 of the 13 inmates who escaped from the Lusignan prison were recaptured by the joint services on Monday evening. But the manhunt continues for the remaining 6. 2 of the escapees were caught in the capital, Georgetown, while the other 5 were held in East Coast Demerara. The prisoners, most of whom are said to be high-profile inmates facing murder charges, escaped between Sunday night and the early hours of Monday morning. The escape came just 3 weeks after a fire at the Camp Street prison in the capital displaced over 1,000 prisoners. During that fire, a number of other high-profile prisoners escaped the Georgetown prison, some of whom are still on the run. Some of the 118 displaced prisoners were being housed at Lusignan. Reports are that there had been 3 layers of security at the Lusignan prison since the Camp Street prison fire. This included prison officials, police and soldiers. As investigations continue, Director of Prisons Gladwin Samuels says he will not speculate as to whether there was a conspiracy.
What was revealed is that despite we would have provided the portable toilets, the prisoners, I am not sure if it is because of numbers or if they were uncomfortable with the use of the portable toilets, but some of them resorted to using an area where the 2 fences come together. It's like a V. And somewhere there, in order to protect themselves from others seeing them when they're using the toilet, there was a zinc sheet erected. The digging of the hole occurred in the same vicinity. They had to do, I guess because of the rain too, the mud was not as challenging as it should be, and they managed to get below the foundation of the fence.
Meanwhile, Public Security Minister Khemraj Ramchatan says he's embarrassed by the most recent prison break. He says it speaks to bigger issues such as the need to enhance Guyana's legislative framework. We get more in this report from Ivor Wharton of Capital News.
Public Security Minister Khemraj Ramchatan today said the escape of 13 prisoners from the Lusignan prison is very embarrassing. The men escaped from the swamped area where prisoners displaced by the Camp Street prison fire were initially placed.
As a matter of fact, I do not want to use the regular expletives here, but it is terrible what transpired. But you know, we have to continue with this fight, catching in a manhunt those 17 persons, and in the process also doing the policy issues of enhancing our legislative framework, and also getting done that which we have already started. That is, the consultancies in relation to pre-detention, trials, alternative sentencing, the Mazaruni prison, getting the design and the quantity surveys done so we can start actual construction. Those are the big things that we have to get solved.
The minister explained that the other prisoners in the swamped area will be transferred to the Camp Street prison.
86, and as we speak, we are trying to ensure that arrangements are made for them to go now to the New Brick prison, which New Brick prison has been sufficiently completed for purposes of having them in there. I had wanted an administrative building, an infirmary, and a couple of other things to be built before we had them there, but we have to now fast track that because of the fact of their behavior.
U.S. oil giant ExxonMobil has discovered more oil in the Payara Reservoir offshore Guyana. In making the announcement on Tuesday, ExxonMobil Corporation said this increases the total Payara discovery to approximately 500 million oil equivalent barrels, and it increases the estimated gross recoverable resource for the Stabroek block to between 2.25 billion and 2.75 billion oil equivalent barrels. The well, drilled by ExxonMobil affiliate Esso Exploration and Production Guyana Limited, encountered 59 feet of high-quality oil-bearing sandstone in the Payara field. The well is only 12 miles northwest of the recently funded Liza Phase 1 project on the Stabroek block, which is approximately 130 miles offshore Guyana. President of ExxonMobil Exploration Company, Steve Greenlee, says Payara 2 confirms the second giant field discovered in Guyana. Barbados's 4 main trade unions are to meet to discuss the next course of action following a massive protest march over tough tax measures. An estimated 20,000 private and public sector workers marched through the streets of Bridgetown on Monday as trade unions and the private sector joined forces in an attempt to force the government to go back to the negotiating table to discuss their concerns about new taxes. Ahead of the march, Prime Minister Frendel Stewart said the organizers had no basis for the march. The General Secretary of the Barbados Workers Union, Tony Moore, says she hopes the Prime Minister changes his position.
What happens now is that we have been discussing a number of things with the private sector. On our own, without the private sector, they too are exploring a number of things, but it's one step at a time for us. We now have to regroup. We believe that when the people have spoken, that there should be a time, a point of reflection, and we are still being confident that the Prime Minister, irrespective of everything he said yesterday, will take a second look at what he saw today, understanding fully what that means, and respond appropriately. That is really our hope.
Jamaica's National Security Minister is warning parents to be vigilant in the face of human trafficking. The warning comes as the country begins a week of activities to mark World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. Speaking at the launch of the week-long activity on Monday, Robert Montague indicated that the United States Department of State reported on human rights trafficking, noted that Jamaica is a source and destination for the trafficking of adults and children. We get more in this report from Jeline Pearson of TVJ News.
As the curtains open for Trafficking in Persons Week, the Security Minister is concerned. And the statistics are stark. 45 million persons globally were recorded as being victims of human trafficking in 2016. Robert Montague says Jamaicans should be on high alert.
The U.S. Department of State Trafficking in Persons report noted that Jamaica is a source and destination country for adults and children subjected to sex trafficking and forced labor. Sex trafficking of our women and children is happening right here on our streets.
He says parents should take the warnings seriously, especially as it concerns their children.
Know what your child is doing when they're on their phone, tablet, or computer. Know who your children's friends are, and know who your children's friends' parents are. You need to know who your child is speaking to. Who they think they are speaking to may not be the same person. Warn them not to give out personal information. Warn them not to give out their location.
Meanwhile, Justice Minister Delroy Chuck says the government has been making strides in tackling human trafficking.
We continue to strengthen the judicial system, to reduce turnaround time to dispose of cases, and to improve the way victims interface with the court system. The judge's only trial, which was recently approved by Cabinet, is a step in the right direction and signals that as the state is concerned, human trafficking continues to be a priority.
World Day Against Trafficking in Persons will be observed on July 30th. And stay with us. We have more news after this break.
That Caribbean Broadcasting Union and its regional and international partners at the CBU Annual General Assembly, August 21st through 24th at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau, the Bahamas, under the theme Digital Developments in Caribbean Media. Prime Minister of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, Dr. the Honorable Hubert Alexander Minnis, will welcome delegates during the opening ceremony. Guyana's Minister of Public Telecommunications, the Honorable Kathy Hughes, will offer a keynote address on digital developments in the region. See the launch of the UNESCO-sponsored Manual of Social Media Guidelines for Caribbean Journalists, with guest speaker Jamaica's Director of Public Prosecutions, Paula Llewellyn. And hear from international media players about the new developments in digital television standards in Europe, the US, and Japan. And this year's Caribbean Broadcasting Awards Gala at the Atlantis Resort Paradise Island is not to be missed. Call 246-430-1007 to book your space in the 3-day conference and exhibition. Don't miss the CBU 48th Assembly at the British Colonial Hilton Hotel in Nassau from August 21st through 24th. Discounts on flights to the Assembly on the official airline, Caribbean Airlines.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Who will be the next Miss World Bahamas? You be the judge by voting for your favorite contestant. Download the Miss Bahamas app or log on to MissBahamas.net. Subscribe to the Miss Bahamas Club. Click on to your favorite contestant and vote as many times as you like. Your votes help decide who makes the finals and takes one step closer to the crown. And on the final night, club members will help to choose the new queen. Make your girl's dream come true. Vote for your favorite Miss World Bahamas contestant today.
In Trinidad and Tobago, a new twist to the controversy surrounding allegations that the two children of Attorney General Faris Alwari, who were photographed at a military camp with high-powered guns in October last year. Local media reported on the weekend that outgoing Chief of Defense Staff Brigadier General Rodney Smart had signed a letter of apology that sought to exonerate his predecessor Kenrick Maharaj, who had been accused of allowing the children to go on the range. But CMC News has been reliably informed that Brigadier General Smart has been on pre-retirement leave since May, and he therefore could not have signed the document. CMC has since obtained a copy of the July 18th letter of apology that was sent to the retired major. When contacted by CMC News, Brigadier General Smart said he had no comment to make on the matter. In the letter, the Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force informed Maharaj that the record of proceedings of the Board of Inquiry did not name him, nor did it state that he had any knowledge of the range practice and/or that he had granted approval for practice to be conducted. Maharaj had told a local newspaper that the apology from his successor was not enough and did not properly address the core issue of how the children of the Attorney General came to be holding and posing with high-powered weapons. He said he would be weighing his legal options over the issue that was first brought to public attention when opposition legislator Dr. Rudal Monilal showed the photographs in Parliament in October last year. When the photographs were released, Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley had described the situation as a serious breach of security by the Defense Force. Over now to the Bahamas. Opposition leader Philip Davies has written to Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis expressing concern about the recent arrests of and charges against former parliamentarians, and he is seeking an audience with the country's leader to discuss the issue. But the Minister of State for Legal Affairs says the law should take its course. Janine Noel Ferguson of ZNS Network News reports.
Following the arrest, charge, and eventual release on bail of two former Progressive Liberal Party parliamentarians and the arrest of former Deputy Speaker Dion Smith, who was later cleared of all allegations, Opposition leader the Honorable Philip Davis has expressed outrage in what he called a political witch hunt. In a letter to Prime Minister Dr. the Honorable Hubert Minnis dated July 18th, Davis suggested that political interference influenced the manner in which the cases were handled. We spoke with State Minister for Legal Affairs, Ellsworth Johnson, on these claims.
In a country that relies on the independence of the interrelations of the international community and the protection of the civil, political, and legal rights of our citizenry, that is not the practice. If there's any allegations of the breach of a law, not emotions, the breach of a law, you state which law has been breached, and you go to that independent, impartial, and fearless institution, and you state your claim. That is the history of the Bahamas. That is the history of the Westminster model system that we have, that it allows these things.
Johnson did not address the matter directly. However, in the letter, Davis also pointed to a number of things that he said the party is taking issue with as it relates to Smith and Dorset. He warned that, quote, where such abuses of power occur, there will come a day of reckoning. He added that what goes around comes around, but was quick to add that he did not mean that as a threat. Not speaking to the matter directly, the state minister stressed that due process in the legal system allows for recourse. Now, Johnson says the Bahamas is also following trends around the world where more governments are leading the way in terms of formulating legislation against corruption.
Around the world, these are the things that are happening because international, when you're looking at terrorism, financing, and whatever have you, anti-money laundering, and I want us to stay above the fray. The world is now calling on itself to account. It's calling on senior public officials, government officials, to be transparent in their dealings.
Now, in his letter, Davis said the matters touch the very heart of the Constitution, and he hopes to meet with the Prime Minister to discuss how public confidence in law and order can be secured.
As election tension heightens in Grenada amid speculation that the polls will be called before the end of the year, both the ruling New National Party, the NNP, and the opposition National Democratic Congress, the NDC, have been putting caretakers in place in the island's 15 constituencies. The newest caretaker to be installed is first-timer to frontline politics Claudette Joseph. A lawyer by profession, Joseph will be representing the opposition NDC in the town of St. George. She will be coming up against veteran politician and parliamentarian Peter David, who previously held the seat under the NDC banner. Joseph served on various government-appointed committees during the period of the NDC administration from 2008 to 2013. She was openly opposed to the 7 bills for constitution reform, which Grenadians voted against in the 2016 referendum. And she was one of 2 lawyers who filed an injunction against the supervisor of elections, asking the court to stop the November 2016 referendum. Elections in Grenada are constitutionally due early next year. The 47th Annual General Meeting of the Caribbean Shipping Association is to be held in Barbados in October with a heavy focus on cyber security. Speaking at a media brief on Monday, General Manager of the CSA, Fernando Rivera, said the conference is a forum where the regional maritime community address the challenges and response to opportunities in the industry.
Cybersecurity is one of the main issues right now all over the world. We started with a seminar with a presentation in Curaçao in May, and we'll continue with a workshop here in Barbados to talk about cybersecurity. We also have a training August 29 and 30 in Miami for cybersecurity, open to all members of the Caribbean Shipping Association.
And ahead in Newsline Sport, the Reggae Boys' victory, that's their victory over Mexico, described as a David versus Goliath moment. Sport is next. Do stay with us.
Ready. It's another episode when we out on the road. This is love to celebrate, to celebrate. This is not Hollywood. No, we don't come out the boat. Drink, drink, drink.
King Baba and Nikita. Every fact that a boy keep on calling me wrong name. But that's okay, cause that's my bitch. I don't understand how wearing a name tag on me. Don't know what to say, he's still calling me wrong name.
Don't get vexed with me. Don't say that.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with diabetes? If so, it is important that you know about Glucerna. Glucerna is a nutritional supplement for people with diabetes and contains Carb Steady, which helps minimize blood sugar spikes. Manage your diabetes with Glucerna. Glucerna, nutrition for people with diabetes, designed for you.
Reggae Boys head coach Theodore Whitmore has branded his side's semi-final upset of reigning Gold Cup champions a case of David slaying Goliath, and he says his boys are now focused on winning Wednesday's final against United States to atone for their disappointment of losing the 2015 edition. Kimara Lawrence's 88th minute free kick was enough to lift Jamaica to a narrow 1-0 victory over Mexico at the Rose Bowl on Sunday night, paving their return to the final for a second successive Gold Cup campaign. Whitmore said the victory was overwhelming, and he said while the Reggae Boys were savouring the victory, he is insisting that none lose focus. The coach says Jamaica, which is ranked 76th in the FIFA rankings, does not want history to repeat itself by being in another finals and then ending up runner-up. The Reggae Boys are the only English-speaking Caribbean team to reach a Gold Cup final. The tournament has been dominated over the years by giants Mexico, who have won 7 titles, and United States, who have clinched 5. But the Reggae Boys coach says his men are keen on breaking that stranglehold. He said, and I quote, "It's always Mexico, US. We want to be in that group. We want to be a team, a country that someone can talk about, and that's what we're working toward." End of quote. The coach, whose contract with the Jamaica Football Federation ends at the completion of the Gold Cup on Wednesday, noted that the team has performed better in the second half of most of the 5 games played thus far, but he hopes that they are able to find their rhythm from the first half in the final to put together a complete and balanced game that can win them the Gold Cup. West Indies women captain Stephanie Taylor has continued her slide in the international rankings. In the latest one-day international rankings released on Tuesday, the Jamaican fell 1 place in the baton to 10th spot, with Indian Harmanpreet Kaur, the biggest mover, jumping 7 places to 6th. Deandra Doughton, who struck her maiden ODI 100 during the tournament, has also fallen. She slipped 3 places to 17th. Taylor and Doughton are the only 2 West Indies players in the top 20, with Hayley Matthews, the next best-ranked Caribbean player, at 32nd. Doughton was the leading Windies run-getter with 185 runs, with Taylor ending with 179. Australian Megan Lanning, Meg Lanning, leads an unchanged top 5. In the bowling, meanwhile, Taylor slipped 1 place to 4th in the rankings, headed by South African Cap, with Indian Seema Goswami jumping 4 places to 2nd. Off-spinner Mohammed, who ended the tournament with 7 wickets, is ranked 13th. Taylor, who managed just 5 wickets with her off-spin, remained number 2 in the all-rounders list after being knocked off the top earlier this month by Australian Perry. Reigning champions Trinidad and Tobago made a strong start to their title defense, taking honors on the opening day of their first-round match in the regional Under-19 three-day championships against Windward Islands on Monday. Sent in at Conaree, TNT were dismissed for 233 with Batu Singh top scoring with 60, Leonardo Julian getting 42, and captain and opener Bazidi chipping in with 27. Dylan Douglas with 3 for 27 and Luisi, who got 3 for 59, were the leading bowlers. At the close, the Windwards were reeling on 68 for 5 in their replay. That's their reply. Ramnarayan struck 62 as Guyana opted to bat first against Leeward Islands, who were bowled out for 222. Leading the bowling for Leewards was Pemberton, who got 3 for 51, and White with 3 for 56. In their innings, the Leewards stumbled to 17 for 1 at the close, still 203 runs behind. And at St. Paul's, opener Brathwaite struck contrasting half-centuries, but Barbados lost their last 7 wickets for 83 runs to be dismissed for 192 in their first innings. Shane smashed 66 off 62 balls with 7 fours and 4 sixes, while Kilano's 53 was a patient knock, requiring 172 balls and including just 2 fours. In reply, Jamaica were reduced to 11 for 2, with left-arm spinner Boyce grabbing both wickets. Sprint superstar Usain Bolt will headline Jamaica's 56-member team to the August 4th to 13th World Championship set for London, with 3 other Rio Olympic gold medal winners securing their spot as well. 29 females and 27 male athletes make up the squad that was named by the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association. Bolt will compete in the 100 meters and 4x100 meter relay in what he has announced will be his final competitive appearance. Fellow Olympic star Elaine Thompson will also only feature in the 100 meters and 4x100 meter relay, and the 110 meter hurdle Olympic champion Omar McLeod is also expected to play a leading role in London. Defending 100 meter hurdle champion Danielle Williams is also a big name in the Jamaican squad, which features other medal prospects such as Didika Standout, Frederick Richards, Johan Blake, Jackson, Parchment, and Levi. Former world 100 meter record holder Asafa Powell, as well as fellow veteran Veronica Campbell-Brown, are among the big name athletes who will not be representing Jamaica at London in 2017. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Do you want a real Barbadian experience with peace and tranquility? A home away from home feeling? Come and stay at Best E Villas. We offer 2 amazing locations to choose from, Prospect St. James or Christchurch. Plan a staycation for your anniversary, birthdays, summer or winter breaks, or any special event. Best E Villas is located in close proximity to our lovely beaches. Call us now at 246-425-9751 or visit us at bestevillas.com and make your booking for the best in villas.
Have you or someone you know been diagnosed with diabetes? If so, it is important that you know about Glucerna. Glucerna is a nutritional supplement for people with diabetes and contains Carb Steady, which helps minimize blood sugar spikes. Manage your diabetes with Glucerna. Glucerna, nutrition for people with diabetes, designed for you.
In a place where legends start, the beach is just the beginning. So live a little for the exhilaration and the color of every moment, where time is and life is a spirited event. Immerse yourself in the culture, the music, the people, the island. Love Antigua and Barbuda. Embrace an experience that leaves you breathless, from cricket to sailing week to carnival and more. Antigua and Barbuda, the beach is just the beginning.
Again, the major developments of this day: 7 of the 13 Lusignan prison escapees in Guyana have been recaptured. And in sport, the Reggae Boys' victory over Mexico described as a David versus Goliath moment. That's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sport around the clock, log on to CarnaNews.com. We'll be back here again tomorrow. But from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching. Do have yourselves a good night.